It was Italy. That's all you have to say. It was Italy.
Oh, yeah.
It was Italy. Well, it was Italy to you too. Tonight, welcome to the Final Picture Show podcast. We're talking about Rants, Night of Terror. Not the only title this movie has. We're having a theme of this month so far, both rats and also movies with many titles. Would you like to know some of the other titles of this film before we dive on in?
Desperately.
So it also, just like last week, went by the singular title Rats, which several movies have chosen that title. It went by Blood Kill.
Oh my God.
The Rough 3.
What?
Sure. I don't know. Rats of Manhattan. And then overseas, it went by Rats Anno 225 da Spucia del Hocastio.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, which I think translates to Rats of the year 225 AD, the Holocaust dispute.
Oh, okay.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is another one of those Italian movies. We have not... It's been a while since we've talked about one of these. I think the last one was, 2020 Texas Gladiators?
I think that was.
I like this a lot more than that.
Well, I was about to say, it's Bruno Mattei. I mean, we're
getting into some good territory here. Yeah, Bruno Mattei, a man of many, many names, a man that we will talk about many, many times. I guess before we dive into the film, we usually do the, sign of the apocalypse. And oh boy, we have several this time. We're once again recording these in a little too real. Yeah, we're once again recording these in the future, and at some point we'll stop doing that once our schedules line up a little bit better again. But yeah, the whole this is right in the time where the Minneapolis thing, for future listeners, has just recently occurred. Within the last few days, a man was shot and killed, and and that is a fucked up situation beyond measure.
Where are all the people that were scared of the government taking our guns?
Yeah. The Second Amendment is...
Where are those folks? I mean...
Yeah. Hey.
Starting to think it wasn't really a concern that they had.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think it was just the meme
something
of the snake that is tread on me harder, daddy.
Exactly.
It's become very much like a thing. Where it's
100%.
It's very much a strange situation that we have found ourselves in, and a perplexing one to say the least. And I kind of feel like Edward Norton at times. He recently was just some people are getting shot and killed. We're talking about fucking movies,
right?
But I don't know.
What else? What else do we do?
Yeah, I do definitely feel a little helpless at times. It's well, you should arm yourselves. And it's well, apparently that gives you carte blanche to be shot and killed, because that's apparently all you have to do is have a weapon.
Yeah.
What is deemed a weapon? Before too long, it could be fucking anything.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's a weird sci-fi movie we have found ourselves in. And I don't know, I feel like it'd be weird to not mention it at all. It just would be blow past it historically. It's just historically a rather big moment, and at least in American history, recent history. I know some people might comment he wasn't the first person that they've killed. No, and that's even more fucked up to think about.
Exactly.
He's not the first person, and the first person they've killed this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, and. At least after the first time, even the vice president, a man we've spoken about or be spoken about, has come out and said that these agents of ICE have complete carte blanche to do whatever they need to do.
Insane.
And they will not be held accountable for their actions, which immediately is how is that not? I know that even the guy that was leading them before he got demoted recently, Greg Bavino. Snapper himself, he was don't call us the Gestapo, but it's well, you kind of I don't know how you don't see that historically and say, hey, these two things are similar. But,
right?
What do I know?
One of these things is exactly like the other.
Exactly, right? Exactly. Yeah. I don't see how you don't see the similarities. And I think if you try just explain the subtle. If you try to explain the differences between them, then it's just like, okay, yeah, you're kind of just looking for.
Well, they're both not hot dogs. That's a difference.
That's a difference. One is a rectangle, one is a square. Yes, true. Yeah. But similarities exist, I would say.
But squares are rectangles, so we're right back.
Similarities do exist, and I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess we could educate as an educator. I feel like that's like my only like strength to be able to do in a time like this is to educate. So here's a fun fact that I did not at all pick up from purchasing a copy of the Anarchist Cookbook when I was 20 years old. Well, I gave you everything I've got. Well, I know it's not a lot, but I tried so hard. All the time we spent, wonder where it went. Why was time move on? Why must we go apart? That's all. Just a big fan of Tales. We might edit that part out. I don't know. That might get kicked off YouTube. That might get kicked off YouTube.
I was about
to be another one of those Chinese dentist moments where we take it all out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Save that for the Patreon.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, well, anyway. Let's get into the movie Rat's Night of Terror. This movie came out in 1986 in America, although it came out elsewhere in 1984. And by elsewhere, I mean Paris, France.
I wasn't expecting you to
as well as Italy, it came out in 1984. We're going to look at the 1986 day as well as the 1984 day. Why not? Fuck it.
Why not?
Bruno Mattei, a man that we will revisit again and again and again. He did a couple of these movies. I felt like at one point doing like a whole month dedicated to him, but then I felt like that kind of like spoils the fun because then we wouldn't get to talk about him anymore. Whereas I feel like dropping him in here and there on our journey through the wasteland is a little bit more fun because then Bruno Mattei is like a little friend that we could count on to, hey, it's a Bruno Mattei flick.
Yeah.
Of all of his movies that I have seen, I will say this one is very watchable and
absolutely
surprisingly holds together pretty well.
Yeah.
One of his better movies, honestly. I would say like if you want to get into Bruno Mattei and you don't know where to start, this is a good, decent place to start.
I would say.
Yeah. You get to see a little bit of the good, a little bit of the bad, but you get to see him kind of pretending to be like putting together a Fulci movie. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
He went by many other names. This movie he is directing under an alias Vincent Dawn, but he has also gone by Jordan Matthews, Jimmy Mathis, George Smith, Bob Hunter, William Snyder, Martin Miller, Pierre LeBlanc, and David Hunt. His co-director here, although that there is some little bit of problem there, maybe. According to star of the performance here, quote unquote star of the film, I guess you would call her a star. She's like she's the one of the last ones that lives. Goretta, chocolate.
Yeah.
She said that Claudio Fregosa, the other director here, that he was there for it, but this is a Bruno Mattei movie. Like he was mostly there for translating and kind of like, hey, have you thought about shooting it this way? Okay, interesting. And we're going to do it that way. Or change, so he contributed, but he was not he didn't help as much as he did in other movies. And this is like a common thing in a lot of Italian movies. Same thing in Texas Gladiators, where you had two directors here, two directors.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing that happened. Claudio Fregoso is a man that we will also see again, as he is the writer or actor or producer or director for a lot of movies. Here are a couple of them. Karate Man, Night Killer, Beyond Darkness, Interzone, Terminator 2, not that one, the Italian one. Yeah, Strike Commando 2 and Zombie 3. And here he is giving himself the name of Clyde Anderson. He also went by Oliver Lafitte and Drake Floyd. Yeah. So if you want to hear about why the Italians frequently use these fake American names, you can go and listen to our 2020 Texas Gladiators episode. Because there's like shameless plug, very shameless plug. It's one of our more popular episodes, which is fun.
Hey.
Yeah. A lot of people, I think, because you can find that movie on Blu-ray, I think a lot of people like to listen to reviews of it before they purchase it because they're like, I've never heard of this movie. Is it any good? And then they kind of just want to get like some people's opinions on it. And also, like, I think we kind of represent a little bit of a divisive opinion on that movie because both of us fucking hated it. And a lot of people really, really like Texas Gladiators 2020. So,
really?
Some people really do. It is a guilty pleasure for some. Not for I, not for thee, but for some.
No. Yeah, no. No.
So Bruno and Claudio, or Vincent and Clyde, as they're going by here, they also contributed to the writing of the film, as well as two other writers. So we have Hubert Pacini, who would only write 3 films: Devilfish, this, and Hannah D. And I know you're thinking Hannah D is probably a sequel to Initial D, the anime, but it is not. It is a movie about a woman who I think loses her mind, maybe possessed by a demon. I'm not entirely sure. Those are my guesses based off of just his background of work. I don't know, though.
That's fair.
But I don't think anyone shows up in a Mitsubishi Lancer and pops the clutch and challenges her to a duel. You know.
I get this reference.
Someone out there is going to be like, I watched Initial D too. Yeah.
There's dozens of us. Dozens.
We got to talk about more animes.
Get right.
Next up is the last writer is a female writer, which is unique for this film. Rosalia, there you go. Rosalia Druida. Yeah, I'm apologies on the pronunciation. Italian is not my first language. Although it'd be cool if it was.
Right.
She is mostly known as a dialogue kind of writer, so she mostly contributes to dialogue in a lot of the movies that we already mentioned. So pretty much anything that Claudio Fragoso or Bruno Mattei made, she was kind of usually working alongside them.
Huh.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Cast. There's only a couple of them here. This movie is similar to Texas Gladiators in that the cast is very small. And most of them have not appeared in any movies that a lot of people have seen, outside of those that are fans of Italian films from the 80s.
Yes. I was going to say, it's going to be very esoteric.
Very, very esoteric. However, we do have a couple that are a little off here, a little different. Kurt is played here by Octavino Del Aki. And he is mostly known as a stuntman and has worked as a stuntman continuous up until today. And with such credits as John Wick 2, Quantum of Solace, and here's one that I know you love, Equilibrium.
Oh, hell yeah.
You love your Equilibrium.
I do love Equilibrium.
Nothing like a little gun foo.
Yep. It's gun caught up. But anyway, that's genuinely what it's called in the movie.
I think I've seen that movie like one time. I remember like one of the first times you and I like hung out at the apartments. Yeah. That movie somehow came up, and I remember saying like, "I think that movie's kind of fucking stupid." And you were like, "I kind of like that movie," and I was like,
"It is stupid." But like I've said, stupid does not equal bad. So
it so desperately wanted to be The Matrix and just failed.
It was a mix between Fahrenheit 451 and The Matrix. Like,
yeah.
It was like an uncomfortable marriage of two ideas.
It's just like, it was an interesting film. And then you add in like the gun karate or whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah. Gun kata.
And it just kind of got a little silly.
It was very silly, but for some reason, I loved it.
Some people, I know, it's definitely a movie that a lot of people really love. Yeah, there's like a whole group of people
better
that love
than I do. But then again, I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
Stupid does not equal bad to me. I think stupid can still be very good. Like,
it's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Next up in our cast is Chocolate, who is played by Greta.
Yeah, I'm very curious about this one.
Yeah, we actually have an interview to read from her from a little book that I picked up a little while ago, so that'll be fun to look at here in a minute. she has been in a ton of things. The list goes on and on. Her biggest credit beyond this one is probably Demons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I actually got to meet her briefly at like a little horror movie convention that came through.
No shit.
Yeah, I didn't get an autograph or anything like that, but it was just like, yeah, she was kind of there, and it was just like there wasn't a whole lot of people online at the moment, so it was just like, oh hey, oh yeah, I love Demons, and she's like, oh cool, yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I love Demons, it's one of my favorite movies, and then she was like, oh, do you want an autograph? I was like, oh no, I don't carry a copy with me. I didn't know who was going to be there. I was literally just going with people, so I hadn't prepared to like look up a list of like things to bring or anything like that. So, but no, she seemed like a really nice person. There was a bunch of people in line shortly thereafter, so she had quite a group of people coming to visit her. And we actually have an interview here from a book called World Gone Wild, which is a movie review book in which they have an interview section. And one of the interviews is with her about this movie that we're going to talk about tonight. So some interesting trivia that she reveals in there as well. And like I said, she would be in tons of things. This is actually one of her more popular movies up there. Like whenever I saw her, she had like a poster of this one and Demons. Those were like the two big ones. And so that's how I immediately was like, oh, you're the girl from Demons immediately. Cause like I didn't know the actress's name. Right. But I was like, I've seen Demons a bunch of times, and immediately was like, oh, fuck yeah, Demons. Like, I love that movie. Yeah. So, there you go. There's my story. I'm sticking to it.
That's awesome.
Next up in the cast, and I guess the last two that we'll talk about are two guys, both of which are ones that we will see again in our journey through the Italian Wasteland. One of them is Gianni Franco, and the other one is Massimo Vaini. And the last one there, Mr. Vaini, he has appeared in every one of the Warriors movies, of which there are a couple. I think there's about 3 or 4 Warriors movies: Warriors of the Year, Warriors of the Wasteland, Bronx Warriors. Those are all interconnected. And,
I did not know that.
Yeah. Whenever we get to those, shameless plug, we will talk about all of them, because this movie was actually sold into Germany as a Warriors movie. Now, even though it has kind of a similar premise, like a bunch of biker punks show up at a place and fucked up shit happens. That's kind of the premise of all the Warriors movies. It's like in a post-apocalyptic environment, and a bunch of warriors show up, except a lot of them have like Fred Williamson, kind of, more popular actors, because they were like a big series of movies. This one was, like I said, sold in Germany as a Warriors movie, in spite of it not having anything to do with the series. But a lot of the same actors, a lot of the same people kind of interconnected, so I can see why they would market it as such.
Right.
Yeah. So, speaking of marketing it as such, they had to use a lot of reused sets. So the main reused set they use in this movie is Once Upon a Time in America.
Oh.
Yeah, which is a fun thing to think about. Like the sets that were used in that like famous Oscar-winning, Golden Globe-winning film were eventually used for Rats: Night of Terror. But yes, that is exactly what happened. And then, according to many sources, they reused dead rats. So some of the rats were mechanical, some of them were laboratory rats, some of them were just rats they grabbed off of whatever. And anytime a rat died, because they weren't really taking good care of them in the film, honestly,
believe that.
Yeah,
I'll
just
get
about
into
any
that
time
when we get into the plot.
Yeah, just about any time a rat gets hit, that's really happening.
Yeah,
there wasn't really anyone there to be like, hey, don't hit them or anything like that. There were people whose jobs it were to, apparently, according to Goretta, to literally stand on the side and just like throw rats at people.
Cheesy crazy.
So at the end of the movie, when Kurt dies, and you just see like rats getting tossed at him.
Yep.
That was someone's job, to just sit there and toss rats from a bucket at the people. And some of the rats were alive, some of them were dead, and some of the rats were eating the other dead rats. Like, it was just kind of like a mess. And yeah, it seems like apparently it was not a fun work environment.
That sounds awful. No,
yeah, it sounds pretty terrible.
I'll get into it during the plot, but I've got so much to say about that.
Yeah,
all I could think about.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that's pretty much. So the other big trivia thing that Greta reveals in her interview here with the writer of the book, which is David J. Moore, he asked her the question, "Do you have any trivia about rats that people may not know?" And she said, "At the end, when it came out, and I meet the giant mutant rat in the hazmat suit, the giant mutant rat is me. I'm playing both characters. I'm the rat in the suit. Bruno did that on purpose. He wanted it to be one of those trivia things." So there you go. I thought that was pretty fun.
That is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's blowing my mind.
And he also asked her, "Your actual voice survives in these post-apocalyptic films." She was in 4 post-apocalyptic films. She was actually in Texas. She was actually in 2020 Texas Gladiators as well.
Was she?
Yeah, she is. Whenever you get the random deer hunter scene in the saloon.
Oh,
she's one of the girls that was like in the background that was like enslaved by the little Colonel Sanders pimp looking dude.
That's right.
Randomly, yeah. That was her first post-apocalyptic movie. She was in 3 other ones. This is the second one. So soon she will be joining Casper in the Dinky D Hall of Fame.
I was about to say.
I'll make sure
I chronologically on accident.
Exactly. So he asked her that her actual voice survives in all of these post-apocalyptic films, and the voices in these movies are usually dubbed. This one, as you can tell, usually dubbed. Her voice is not, though. Right. By inappropriate non-actors. The product usually had a new voice track and the sound effects due to the fact that in Italy, sound was never recorded while filming, which is a thing they did in Italy to save money oftentimes. They did not. They would have the actors say the words, but there was no audio. There was no boom mic. There was nothing capturing the audio. So then they would add the audio in afterwards.
So even in Italy, it's all ADR?
It was, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's how they used to do it.
That's really interesting.
Germany for a while had a thing that they would do that too, where like in Germany, it didn't matter what movie it was, they would re-record the audio in German with German actors and just put the movie out that way. And that was just how, like, so that if you like listen to like some old German movies from the 80s, there's like, it sounds completely different because they just had like whoever was around that could do the audio that day. Hey, come read the script. Here you go.
Wow.
And so sometimes that was like the actor's first time reading the script, and it sounds like it. There's no like emphasis put on any of the things. It's just like, oh, okay, this is happening. So Greta said, "I did all the dubbing because I knew all the people who were doing the dubbing. It was like the same 10 people that did all the voices. The key is this: if it's a movie that's in Italian, they know that the primary market for the Italian movie will only dub the American actors into Italian. If it's a movie they think will have any kind of legs, then they dub everyone who doesn't speak English. In Rats, it was an Italian, French, American co-production, and we were all speaking different languages to each other on camera. If somebody pauses, it's probably your line. There was not a single person on set or on the crew that spoke English." I thought that was another interesting fact about Rats, is that you have a lot of people working together that were speaking completely different languages.
That is pretty cool.
Completely different languages. I thought that was a fun little fact about that.
Yeah.
And the last thing that she said about Rats is he asked the question, "Let's talk about Rats. This is a big one for you. You play the lead. That's questionable. She does play the final survivor. I will give him that.
Yeah.
I would say Kurt is the lead throughout most of the movie.
Yeah.
But, and in this movie, she is given the credit as Jana Ryan, and that is not actually her name at all, obviously.
Yeah.
But she said, "You couldn't do Rats today. First of all, you can't call a black female character chocolate and then dump flour on some of them and say, look, I'm white. My only excuse, I did it when I was young. I thought it was funny. I didn't have any political point of view at the time. It was written in the script, and I did it. It was funny. It didn't bother me. I look back at it now, and it was funny. But the other thing is the animal cruelty you couldn't do. There were those scenes where some of the rodents were mechanical, but the scenes that were close up, they were not. They were live. It was not fun, and so low budget. Bruno was crazy. We recycled the dead ones." And he went on to say, and she said, yeah. It was a horror to make. For me, it was a horror to watch. I can still smell those sets today. When they're on fire, they're really on fire. It's not nice. You couldn't do that today. So here's the audition. This is how it goes. It's the 80s. So I'm showing up in a shirt, skirt, and high heels to any audition, and they ask, do you like horror? And I go, yeah. And they say, do you do action? And I go, look at my resume. And I can roll on the ground. I can do machine guns. I can do all that stuff. Do you like animals? I say, sure, I like animals. I don't have a problem with any animals. Nobody told me they were going to be lab rats, so I had no idea. Every time we go do one of my scenes, they have to recut it and do it about 10 times because I just couldn't do it. I'm literally the only one who couldn't handle it. Literally, there would be a guy and the production assistant or the animal wrangler with garbage buckets full of rats, and they'd throw the buckets at you when they call action. Live rodents, what they were. Though they were laboratory rats because their eyes were red, and they had dyed them. They aren't black rats with red eyes. If any of them were harmed during the making of the film, they saved those bodies to litter the scenes with. I'd be standing there with my machine gun, though, looking tough as shit, and they'd call action, and I scream like a girl every time. But other than a few blisters, no accidents on the set for any of the humans. So just some animals that were brutally killed.
Only animals were harmed in the production of this.
only animals have been harmed in the making of this movie. So, which is not a unique thing for a lot of Italian movies. There are some other Italian movies, zombie apocalypse movies as well. Some that we will actively avoid just because some of the animal cruelty in them is just extreme. In this movie, I will say you don't really notice it, but it doesn't surprise me that it's there. Oh, you did notice it in one scene. Okay.
I'll get into that.
You're going to get into that. Okay. So let's get into the end of our background, which ends with the Travis trivia of when this movie came out. So this is when I will have to pause for edit because I need to look it up real fast.
Oh, yeah.
And here we go. All right. So this movie came out on 2 different days. It came out in Paris in December 5th, 1984. And it also came out in Italy in 1984 as well, but I couldn't find out an exact date. Also couldn't find out the budget of this film or how much it made. You can still purchase it on Blu-ray and DVD. It's countless different versions. Some special edition versions that have a lot of special features, some that don't. It's one of those kind of movies that some people go out of their way to pick it up, and other people just kind of don't really know it exists.
I was one of those people.
So it came out in December 5th, 1984 in Paris. Here was what was happening on that day. French colonies had killed 10 people in New Caledonia.
Oh.
Speaking of the French.
The French.
The French. Ricky Henderson had been just involved in a big baseball trade that day.
Oh.
And the top songs in America were Out of Touch by Daryl Hall and John Oates.
Oh, yeah. I know that song.
That's a great song. Yes. As well as The Power of Love by Frankie Goes to Hollywood. That was the number 1 song in the UK.
Oh.
The number 1 dance song was Big in Japan by Alphaville. Another good
Hell
song.
Yes.
There you go. And the number 1 country song was Chance of Lovin' You by Earl Thomas Conley.
I actually don't know that one.
Do not know that off the top of my head. Cannot say that one.
Yeah,
this movie came out in... Oh, good.
I was going to say my 80s knowledge is more towards the new age, or the new wave, the punk, the
punk,
the R&B,
punkers.
Even
let's
the
talk about
disco stuff.
Let's talk about some of them punkers.
Yeah.
This movie came out in America February 21st, 1986. I don't know how close we are when this episode actually comes out to that date, but we might have got it almost right on there. Almost right there.
That'd be cool.
That was the exact same day Hitcher came out to theaters. There you go. It's also the same day, historically, that Mr. Gorbachev called for a nuclear ban. Okay. I got to meet Gorbachev once. He came to my college. Yeah, he came to the college and gave a speech. I forget what year it was. I don't remember the speech, honestly.
Well,
I remember I was drunk during it.
how appropriate.
I showed up drunk as hell. I was like, I'm here to see Gorbachev. Duck that man, Gorbachev.
I was going to say, did you pull a Reagan and just pull him in close and go, "Niet" in his ear?
No. I sat in the theater and I believe I think I probably fell asleep at some point. I was very drunk. It was during college. So. Yeah,
well, was Gorbachev the one that was always drunk, or was he the other Russian? I
think all Russians are always drunk, aren't they?
That's fair, honestly. I think that's
that the whole gimmick?
I don't even think that's controversial to say.
I think that's just how they live their lives,
Yeah,
more power.
And honestly, I might too if I was.
So the big songs that were out on February 21st, 1986 were "When the Going Gets Tough, the Tough Get Going" by Billy Ocean.
Nice.
"Burning Heart" by Survivor.
Ooh.
"Rock Me Amadeus" by Falco.
Hell yeah.
"How Will I Know" by Whitney Houston. It's a good-ass Whitney Houston song.
That is.
"Shot in the Dark" by Ozzy Osbourne.
Nice.
"And She Was" by Talking Heads.
Fuck yes.
And then here's a deep cut. "Love Missile F1/11" by Zieg Zieg Sputnik. There's a deep cut.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's deeper than me. That's deeper than I know.
I used to have that record back in the day. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Not back in the 80s. I wasn't even born when that song came out. But no, I used to. That was one of those records that I picked up randomly, like at a flea market for $1, and didn't know anything other than like it had a cool ass cover. Came to find that they were like a weird 80s glam band that was like very obscure, kind of like a New York City Dolls.
I picked up a good 80s CD at a flea market once. It was the Strawberry Zots. Some good stuff. I mean, I never would have heard of them. I've never found them anywhere else. I don't know where that CD went.
When a lot of those like FYE, Sam Goody, when a lot of them were going out of business and they put all their CDs on clearance, and especially Sam Goody, because like you go to the back and they had like the local section.
Ooh.
Or they had like the clearance sections.
Yeah.
Weren't worth buying for like $10-15, but when the CDs were like 50 cents, 25 cents, 10 for $1, whatever they were when they were about to go out of business, I would just go there. Same thing with Hastings, and I would go and like just grab like random punk bands or hardcore bands that I'd never even heard of. Like just if it looked interesting, I would pick it up because it was so cheap. And there were so many bands that I found that way, that some of them only ever put out like that album and that was it. And they never put anything else out ever again after that. And you can't find it streaming anywhere. Like it's, shit like that. So there's a lot of them that I have like that on my computer saved. I need to like save to like an external or something. Cause there's some obscure shit on there.
Hell yeah.
Well, that's it for the Travis trivia. That's also it for the background of the film Rats. Not a whole lot there. We are going to come back in just a minute to talk about the plot of the film Rat Night of Terror. See you guys in just a second.
Hello. I'm Orson Welles. I direct films and act in them. What we're always trying for, of course, is perfection. In a film, that's only a hope. But with
Final Picture Show podcast,
you can rely on it. Perfection.
I think I've changed what we're going to do next week.
Oh, okay.
I think we're going to do something a little different.
Ooh, I like it. I like when it's different. I like curveballs.
You like curveballs? Well, I think that there's a few others, but there's one other big post-apocalyptic movie in which rats are the center theme.
Oops, all rats.
Oops, all rats. I figured we just continue with it. But next episode is episode 90. So that's it's like we get to do something completely different. And it's like, do we continue the theme with rats and make it very obvious? and do like Ratatouille. I don't really want to do that. I feel like that's too obvious, too easy.
Yeah.
And then I thought like we do other rat, like another movie that takes a different theme on rats. And then I thought The Departed. Well, we already watched that. And then my mind went to like, well, what about Goodfellas? You know, and Henry Hill, you know, the rat. And
the rat.
I've watched Goodfellas enough recently. Then I thought of another movie that I've never seen before, one. And then a movie that I have not seen in a very long time that both deal with rats, insiders, people snitching. Oh. And so I feel like we should do something a little different for episode 90. Episode fucking 90.
Episode
and so we're going to do two films. Oh. Two films that often one is considered to be a ripoff of the other.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't know that when I was a kid, but the first film we're going to watch is Reservoir Dogs.
Oh.
And we're going to watch is the 1987 Hong Kong action film starring Chow Yun-fat that many people consider Reservoir Dogs to be a ripoff of, called City on Fire.
Ooh.
I've never seen City on Fire.
No.
Have you ever seen City on Fire?
Never. I don't even think I've heard of it.
Yeah, well, so it is apparently it's a Hong Kong movie. Chow Yun-fat. So immediately I'm intrigued.
Absolutely.
Danny Lee is also there. And then we're going to, it's apparently kind of very, very similar premise to Reservoir Dogs, but was made in 1987, you know, many, many years before Mr. Tarantino did his movie. And we'll get into both films, the similarities, the differences between them, as well as the controversy surrounding if Reservoir Dogs is a ripoff of City on Fire. So come in for episode 90, and we're going to do that.
Yeah.
So we join the movie, like a lot of post-apocalyptic movies, with a scroll of text and narration telling us a lot of things. One, that the Holocaust, the nuclear Holocaust, happened in 2015. And this movie is set many, many years after that, 225 years after that.
Yeah.
And there are multiple different types of people now that have survived. So there's the primitives who live in the sunlight. Then there's these people that live underground. And there was a feud between them. Mm-hmm. Anyway, and so our movie is mostly focused on these 11 people that come across a mysterious abandoned village. And in that abandoned village, they're going to discover a bunch of rats. And that's basically kind of the whole plot of the movie, more or less, in a nutshell. I mean, you know. Well, like, while they're there, they discover that, like, there's all this food, first off. There's all these... Oh, yeah. There's all this fresh fruit. There's a greenhouse that has, like, plantation that's been well kept. But there's also a bunch of genetically modified angry rats that want to kill them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we meet our little cast of characters. All of them have kind of stupid names, including like Lucifer, Lilith, Kurt, Chocolate. Yeah. And my big issue at the beginning of the movie is that, like, this movie is set 225 years after 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And language has not changed at all. And I find that difficult to believe.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that.
And then there's some things that, like, they can, like, there's a lot of little plot holes when you really start to think about it with this movie. But I don't think you're supposed to think about it with this movie.
Yeah, no. This is definitely not. No, this is a turn your brain off. And
yeah. So the first time we see the rats, we kind of immediately kind of get the tone that these rats, these critters, probably not going to be treated very well in this movie.
No, because I think quickly
there's like a bottle thrown at one of them.
Okay,
and you can see the bottle hit him, and it's just like, that was real.
That was the moment for me. I'm genuinely. This is where I wanted to start talking about this.
Yeah,
that was the moment for me. I started rooting for the rats, and I'm not lying. In this movie, I was rooting for the rats.
Yeah, the humans do seem to have a hatred for them that is unexplained.
Yeah.
Like, the rats aren't really doing anything to them.
They're not doing anything at first. So, honestly, they brought this on themselves. Like, I mean, if they just let them go, who's to say, you know?
I will say the humans, not a unified front. The rats, Unified.
Absolutely.
Unified. This is what organization does. Join a union today.
Careful. Join a rat union.
the gang gets there, and this is the beginning of the movie, has the really unfortunate scene of Chocolate, the only black character in the movie.
Yeah.
When they find the food, they pour a bunch of like flour all over her, and she starts dancing around, screaming, "I'm white, I'm white, I'm white!" And it's really weird.
It's weird, and also, why are you wasting flour? Like, that's a very useful. Like, I thought y'all were. It was post-apocalypse.
You do a lot of shit with that.
Yeah. That amount of flour that they threw on her was like several meals worth,
Yeah. Oh God. Like, yeah. That was a shitload of things you could do with that.
You could do.
That's like at least 18 biscuits.
Exactly. There were so many things you could do with that. Like,
yeah. So that part really hasn't aged well. And Greta, like we talked about in the interview section, she has acknowledged that as well. That that's not very good anymore.
But when, like she said, when you're young and you're not very, you're not really affected by the world around you, you're just you haven't had any time in the world,
Yeah, it's not something you're not necessarily thinking of.
Yeah.
The next big thing that this movie does have in common with Gladiators of 2020 of the Texas variety is we do get several sex scenes. And the first one is between Lucifer and Lilith, who are actually kicked out for fucking too loudly.
What a weird scene, man.
That was pretty an odd scene. First off, you hear them having sex, and you don't really know where they're having sex at, and then it's revealed that they're fucking right next to everybody, and it's not like a thing where it's like, oh, they have to. This is the only room they have. It's like, no, they could go they could go other places. They've made this decision of we're shagging up in this goddamn sleeping bag here. And Chekhov's sleeping bag does become important.
I was going to say that was a weird device for this. I don't know, just to be.
It was a weird So we skipped over the only part that so while they're finding food, they also discover a body that has been eaten by rats.
Oh, that's right.
And everyone freaks out except for Kurt.
And they freak out in and I agree with him on this one. It's it's the post-apocalypse. You've seen dead bodies.
You've seen some fucked up shit before, but rats, maybe.
Well, I mean, maybe the way he was eaten, I guess, or I'm sorry, the way that he was killed, the way that
his
body
face
looked,
was all mutilated. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up looking. It's good makeup, good effects.
And then there was that. God, what was her name? The one that screamed a lot throughout the whole. Myrna, was that her name? Yeah,
Myrna. Yeah, Myrna.
She did not endear. That character did not endear herself to me in that moment.
Yeah, I renamed Kurt Clint Southtree because he looks like Clint Eastwood.
Oh, I like it.
That should have been his American name.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, so they see the rats, and then, like you said, they're kind of all freaking out, and Kurt's like, what's the problem here exactly?
Yeah,
anyway,
right.
So the next thing we see is Lucifer and Lilith, they're fucking.
Yeah.
And they're being too loud with their fucking, and they're fucking in front of everyone. So they tell them, hey, take it outside, which they do eventually, but they also have this issue with the sleeping bag, Chekhov's sleeping bag, which is they're stuck inside of it, kind of.
And this goes on for
It goes on for a while. They really want to make an emphasis that, once you're in this sleeping bag, you can't get out.
Yeah.
And it does become relevant later because after they leave to go knock the boots, Lucifer gets a little drunk and he stumbles off because he gets into an argument.
What was the argument?
He wants to go again. He wants to go again. He's like, hey, we just had sex. And she's like, yeah, you were a little too rough for me. I'm done for the night. And he's just like, no, I want to fuck again. And she's like, no, I'm done for the night. And he's like, oh, I'm going to go storm off somewhere else. And so he goes and gets drunk. And then he falls into the sewer and then is immediately devoured by rats. Then Lilith is stuck in the sleeping bag, and she is also eaten alive by rats.
Yeah.
As I guess they crawl from inside of her because whenever her body is discovered, a rat is crawling out of her mouth.
That was awesome.
That was a good effect. Yeah, that was a really cool effect. Yeah. This movie does have good practical effects.
I will say I didn't see it coming because, like, I was when they reveal her dead body, of course, more gratuitous nudity. And Bruno Mattei, who knew? You know, only everyone. But you know, but the I think that's a running joke I have with this other guy I talked to. He's a buddy of mine. Will say, like, you know, an Italian movie or an Italian director that's exploitative or, you know, kind of exploits women, and we're like, you're going to need to narrow down way more than that. Like,
yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, and Bruno is probably the most famous.
Yeah, he's example. Up there. He's up there. Yeah, he's up there.
And the way that they reveal, like, her dead body and everything, they say there are no scratches, there are no marks or anything. And I'm like, yeah, how is that? So they assume he, like, strangled her or something, you know, like he killed her.
Yes, they immediately assume that Lucifer got mad and killed her,
which makes sense. You know, I would think the same thing because, like, there are, like, how is there no scratches? But then the rat out of the mouth, and I was like, nice, that's good. That was good.
Yeah,
you got me.
Yeah. Then we meet the other gang of humans that is kind of here, which is led by Noah.
Mm-hmm.
Who had him and Kurt, they just don't get along, you know?
They don't.
They have issues. They have issues of who's going to be the leader. But the biggest issue that they have is to barricade themselves away from the rats.
Yep.
Because the rats are coming for them. In spite of them having guns and flamethrowers and weapons of all kinds, the rats are coming for them.
Yeah.
It's kind of silly.
It's very silly. But
once you accept the fact that, like, the villain of the movie, the rats, are not that intimidating, or as you said, just decide you're rooting for the rats, then it kind of becomes like a fun movie. If your hang up is like, oh, the rats are, I don't believe them, it's like, then it's not going to work for you. But
right.
In a way, it kind of reminds me of, like, Crash and Burn, like our very first movie that we did, where it's just like, it's kind of like a post-apocalyptic movie that could honestly, like, be not set in the post-apocalypse. Because, like, you don't really need any of the post-apocalyptic stuff here to make this a post-apocalyptic movie. This should just be like a weird horror movie that just involves, like, rats. You know,
it honestly might make more sense. You know,
It
would. You would have to explain a lot less.
So. Yeah. So a couple of them get bitten, and they decide to barricade themselves until the next day. But they're worried the ones that got bitten are going to get infected. So they decide to go get medicine. Well, the women are supposed to stay there and take care of Diana. But this obviously does not go very well for them.
No.
As this is where most of the cast kind of gets killed off and devoured here, piece by piece, one by one, by the rats in progressively silly ways. I will say most of the death scenes are very funny and well done.
I was
good
about
practical
to say,
effects.
Like, a movie like this, what you're looking for is the deaths. So you know,
totally,
they deliver.
Yeah. I like I said, like, one of my big notes was I was like, honestly, this is not that bad.
No.
Like, for a lot of people having terrible reviews on Rotten Tomatoes and people claiming this is like one of the worst movies ever made. And this movie was,
really?
Yeah, it's up there. And this movie was reviewed on Riff Tracks. They did a Riff Tracks of it.
Oh, yeah.
The original hosts of Mystery Science. So, like, there's people that have, like, used this movie. And I will say the overdubbing is quite bad. Like, you can tell, like, the overdub is really doesn't fit. Like, half the time what they're saying and their words don't match up.
We've watched enough Italian movies to get over that.
That's not that big of a deal to me.
No.
I'm kind of fine with that. It doesn't. That doesn't bother me.
That's one of the last things I judge on. You know, like
So, like I said, like, one of the big notes I wrote at the end of the movie, I wrote down, sure, the villains are silly and the dialogue is off, but the movie does a decent job of building tension.
Yeah,
and it's honestly one of the better Bruno Mattei movies that I've seen.
I'm with that.
Yeah. So the survivors keep getting attacked one by one until they eventually kind of get narrowed down to just a few of them left. And they get kind of barricaded in this room, the last, 4 or 5 of them.
Yep. And then
until Kurt is killed by getting rats thrown at him after the door collapses.
Yeah. Well, and and then Starscream. I mean, the nothing on that. All right, throw a little bone to anyone fans of Transformers. There is like, I'm gonna take. I'm in the lead now.
Yes,
as soon as Kurt's gone, he pulls a Starscream.
He does indeed. Yep.
And that I couldn't get away from that parallel. Whenever that happened, I was like, "Oh, Starscream!" And and Myrna, good old Myrna, she really is the weak link of this movie. And I mean character wise, her character is a weak link. She's like, "Oh, you're gonna protect me? All right, I'm with him." Everyone's here to protect you. Like, what are you talking about?
He's going to protect me, which he doesn't. Yeah, no. She ends up dead after he and her try to escape together, which leads them to then, his whole death scene, Dukes, is kind of silly because he just kind of looks at all the rats that are forming around him and is like, repugnant. Just starts yelling at how disgusting they are, and then he just kills himself by throwing a grenade.
Yeah,
that's it. It's like, all right, well, that was stupid.
Well, because I mean, that was what he was doing to keep them he was bluffing. They thought he was bluffing.
And they thought he was bluffing, but he apparently no sir,
nope. Just on that really cool vehicle that Chocolate was driving.
That was cool. Yeah, that was cool.
I was like, oh, I need to see more of that.
Yeah, so we get to where there's only 4 people left, and this is where we start to reveal that there's more to the movie because we start getting intercuts of these guys in yellow suits, hazmat suits.
Yeah,
they're just walking around the outdoors while everyone everyone underground is trapped fighting the rats, and they're just spraying all this chemical everywhere.
I don't know what that chemical is.
I don't know. Yeah, they're just spraying it all over the place, and then eventually we get down to the last 2 people left, and they think these people in the hazmat suits have saved them.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they think. And then we get the big reveal, which is a nice twist that I will say I do like that this movie does.
Yes.
Where Chocolate is like, oh, thank God you've saved us. And then the other guy's like, yeah, you're our friend, right? And then they'll shake their head. No. They look at each other and then she takes off the mask, and it's a humanoid rat.
Which I didn't. I got to be honest with you. I mean, I know that's the cover on Tubi, but I didn't think they'd actually do it. I was like, I thought that was just conceptual or something.
I was watching this with my wife, and she was just like, "Is this the same movie as last time?" And I was like, "No, another post-apocalyptic movie with rats." And she was like, "Yeah, how many are there?" And I was like, "Oh, there's a few."
Humanoid rat post-apocalypse. I didn't know there was. Would have never guessed there'd be one, let alone multiples. So, way to go!
There's a couple. Yeah, there was a few.
It's there's things like this that are like, maybe we're gonna be okay.
Yeah, right.
Like I didn't have hope before, but now there's things,
Well,
this can buoy me for a bit.
Final thoughts on Rats, Night of Terror.
Oh, it was, like you said, it was better than I was expecting it to be. It's it holds up. It's good. And I will say I struggled. I was, getting a little frustrated with the way they were treating the rats. Cause I think at one point, whenever what was his name? Lucifer. When they find his body, they hit it with they shoot that flamethrower down the hole. Yeah. You can see one of the rats running off on fire.
Yeah, that thing was on fire for real.
I was like, man, this, I was already on board with the rats, at the beginning when they got through that bottle of glass at him.
Yeah.
And, just knocked that rat off and was like, oh, that was a real rat.
I mean, none of the human characters are really likable, so you do kind of end up going Team Rat, go Rat, go.
So, I mean, I probably didn't have the intended feelings for this movie, like throughout. So like I was just like enjoying. But that's the thing with these movies. Like the death scenes are the thing. Like horror movies are about, especially Italian horror movies, are about the death scenes, like the practical effects. How do they look? It looks really cool, actually. That's one of my favorite things about like giallo, like Italian horror movies. Like that's my thing, like that's the interesting part. That's what you're looking for. So it made it a little more enjoyable even. So I was like, got another one. So, And,
I was going to say, this movie is not bad at all. It is fine. The treatment of the rats is definitely problematic, and you can tell that it is definitely, I can see why some people would not want to watch it for that reason. That aside, for an Italian horror movie, this is pretty good. Yeah. Could possibly be a Master Splinter origin story in another way. But the music is really good. I like that. Yes. I like a lot of the shots. I like the pacing of the movie. I think some of the dialogue was bad, obviously. Yeah. Some of the acting is fine. Like some of the reactions to like the people dying is fine. They actually they have a lot of emotions, which is, and kind of like give it some time whenever they find a body, which is kind of good. Mm-hmm. You don't see that in a lot of some Italian movies. They edit that down to like nothing. Where it's like, they find a person that they've been with for like half the movie and the person's dead and they get like 10 seconds of reaction. It's like, all right, moving on. Mm-hmm. This movie, they actually do put some weight behind whenever they find like one of their friends dead. So it kind of gives that kind of like feeling of like, at least these people care about each other, even if they are horrible pieces of shit, animal abusers. At least they care about each other. Yeah. I don't think this movie was that bad, honestly. No. I think a lot of people kind of, I don't know. It's one of those movies that after I watched it, I was thinking it was going to be really, really bad. But after I got done watching it, I was like, it's not that bad. It's okay. I've seen way worse. I've seen way worse movies. And this one, I don't even think it was like so bad it's good. It was just like, it was decent little movie. It was
decent. I mean, I might watch it again later on, just because. Like,
it's got a fun little twist. Decent little new music to it.
Like this, it's not even one of those movies like you're saying so bad it's good. It's not. I mean, there are obviously going to be a little bit of that. That's fine. Oh yeah, I'll probably check out the riff tracks of it just because. I mean, they riff on movies I like all the time, so
they do indeed. They do indeed.
So, and it's funny. I like it. I mean, I riff on things. I rip on shit I like all the time. So
there's plenty here. There's plenty here to make fun of, especially at the end of the movie with the reveal and how everything builds to that. Yeah, it's definitely a fun time there.
Especially because that's so many unanswered questions.
tons. Well, hopefully y'all had a fun time coming along for episode 89. Oh yeah, episode 90 is next week, and we're going to do a twofer. We're going to look at Reservoir Dogs and City on Fire and talk about different kinds of rats. Yeah. As we continue with our February theme of Oops, All Rats. So we'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Take it easy.
Hot damn, college boy. Thank you so much for listening. Every single week we come back with a new movie about the end of the world, or a movie about the beginning of the end of the world, or what happens after the end of the world, or maybe one day we just decide to watch Showgirls. Who knows, right? But every week we are coming back, and thank you so much for stopping in this week and listening to the whole episode and hearing our thoughts on whatever train wreck of a movie I chose to force my friend to watch this week. I'm a good person like that. And thank you for also being a good person. There you go. If you want to be a really, really fucking cool person, which you obviously are, why don't you give us a like, and actually, more importantly, give us a subscribe. I find that to be more important. I don't know if the algorithm says it is. I don't really give a shit. But thank you for your patronage either way, and clicking all the things and doing all the stuff. Bye. Thanks.